Hello, my name is Katherine Robertson. I'm an HR specialist here at National PEO, and I'm going to briefly go over how to complete the new Form I-9. The new version of the Form I-9 has been released, and all employers will be required to begin using this form for all new hires as of May 7th, 2013. The new I-9 is now a two-page form with the employee section, Section 1, on the first page, and the employers section, Section 2, on the second page. The employee, and only the employee, must fill out the entire Section 1. The first part of Section 1 requires the employee to provide all of his or her personal information. All employees are required to attest to their citizenship status or immigration status by checking off one of these four boxes. It is very, very important that the employee checks off one of these four boxes. If the employee checks off that he or she is a lawful permanent resident, must provide the alien registration number or USCIS number in the line provided. If the employee checks off that he or she is an alien authorized to work, they need to provide the document expiration date on the line provided. And in addition to that, they need to provide either the alien registration number or USCIS number or the Form I-94 admission number. The employee must then sign and date completing Section 1. The preparer and/or translator certification, the employee will never be the one to fill this section out. This section only needs to be filled out by someone who assisted the employee in filling out Section 1. Section 2 of the I-9 is for employers only. The employee must not ever write anything in Section 2. Employees must present unexpired original documentation that shows the employer his or her identity and employment authorization. For this purpose, a document titled Lists of Acceptable Documents is provided along with the Form I-9. Employers cannot specify which documents the employee may present. The employee chooses which documentation from the provided lists that they're able to present. Employees must present one document from List A or one document from List B in combination with one document from List C. List A documents contain information that shows both identity and employment authorization, while List B documents show identity only and List C documents show employment authorization only. The employer must ensure that any identification and/or employment authorization documents that the employee presents is on this list of acceptable documents or is an acceptable receipt, which we'll talk about more in a minute. You do not have to be a document expert. The employer must accept documents presented by an employee if it reasonably appears to be genuine, if it relates to the individual, and if it is on this list. The document must be original. Photocopies are not acceptable. The only exception is a certified copy of a birth certificate. In certain circumstances, your employee may present an acceptable receipt in lieu of a List A, B, or C document. Receipts may be used as temporary proof of employment eligibility when a List A, B, or C document has been lost, stolen, or destroyed. It must be issued by the originating agency, and the employee has 90 days to present a replacement document. Receipts indicating that an individual has applied for employment authorization or for an extension on an expiring employment authorization document are not acceptable. List A. If an employee provides a List A document, for example, a U.S. passport or a permanent resident card, you do not need a second form of ID, and you only need to fill out List A in Section 2. Always make sure you get a copy of List A documents. It is very important for E-Verify purposes. Also, for permanent resident cards or employment authorization cards, you must have copies of both the front and the back of the document. If an employee provides a List B document, for example, a driver's license or a school ID card, the employee will still need to provide a second form of ID from List C. for example, a social security card or birth certificate. The first step in completing Section 2 is for the employer to put the employee's last name, first name, and middle initial, which can be taken from Section 1. It is very important that the employer fills in all the information for List A, B, or B and C in the following order. First, we have document title. For a driver's license, you would write driver's license. Then you have issuing authority. For a driver's license, you would put the state that issued the driver's license. Then you have the document number. And then you have the expiration date. For List C, an example here is a social security card. You can abbreviate SSC. For the issuing authority, it's Social Security Administration, which can be abbreviated as SSA. You have the document number, and there is no expiration date for a social security card. In the certification portion, the employer needs to enter the date the employee began or will begin work for pay, the name, signature, and title of the person completing Section 2, and the date he or she completed Section 2. This date is required to be within 3 days of the employee's first day of employment. The employer must also enter the employer's business name, address. The employer must always complete the certification and provide the employer's signature in Section 2. The employee cannot and must not ever complete the certification. Section 2 must be completely filled out by the employer. Just providing copies of the documents and leaving Section 2 blank or partially completed is not acceptable. Section 3 of the I-9 only needs to be filled out if an employee's temporary employment authorization has expired and they provide a new or updated document, or if you rehire the employee within 3 years of the original hire date, or if you are updating an employee's name. Here's some brief tips just to sum up what we talked about. If you are still not sure how to fill out an I-9 correctly, please contact the HR department and National PEO for assistance. As a reminder, in order to stay in compliance with E-Verify, it is required that all I-9s promptly be completed and submitted to our office within 3 days of an employee's date of hire. Please do not wait weeks or months to send us new hires I-9, as this will not be in compliance with the E-Verify regulations. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, will issue fines and penalties for incomplete or improperly filled out I-9s. So if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact National PEO's HR department. Thank you for listening to this I-9 tutorial, and again, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.